I was in a strange place, but there were many clouds, and I was floating. Me, what's going on? Why am I floating? And where am I? I asked, looking around. Welcome to my domains, young man. A powerful and imposing voice was heard, to which I realized that it was heard behind me. I turned around, and when I did I was completely speechless and I felt like I was short of breath because of the person I was seeing. I could not believe it. Welcome, kid. Me, you, why you, TTUEE, why you're, I said, sweating profusely from surprise and fear. The one, that's right, many know me as the one above all. I declare in an imposing voice. Me, the one above all? The supreme deity of all Marvel? But that's impossible. You're just a fiction. I screamed while pointing at him. The one, well, this is how the humans of your dimension see me and my universes, my creations, he said calmly. Me, how do we see you? What do you mean? I asked hesitantly but interested. The one, it is something complicated to explain, but I will put it this way, we the supreme gods, reveal our existence in humans that we select. In this case I selected some, and among them there was one outstanding among the others called Stan Lee. The fact is that he and others implanted in their minds some things or implements of my different created universes, and they believing that they are their own ideas, take those thoughts to the outside implanting them in those things that they call comics or television series, or animated or cinematographic movies. In this way the existence of the different dimensions that exist is revealed. There are other gods who do the same, but their ideas are known as animes, light novels, mangas, etc. That's all. 116. I couldn't believe what I had heard. A great secret had been revealed to me. Me, so Marvel and its universes are real? The one, they are. Me, like DC? The one, DC? Ah. My friend, the presence's creations, yes, they are too. I was breathing heavily because of what had been revealed to me. I couldn't believe it. I would calm down a little and look at the supreme being of Marvel. Me, okay, what I heard is incredible, but what am I doing here in front of you? The one, simple, I have chosen you, he said simply. Me, did you choose me? For what or what? I asked confused. The one, simple, just so you know, you're not the first one from your world to come to me, there have been several before you that I gave this opportunity to. Me, opportunity for what? I exclaimed, wanting an answer. The one, I chose you to be reborn or reincarnated in one of my many universes. At that moment everything around me went silent. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, because it sounded too ironic. Me, excuse me, what did he say? I asked, cleaning my ear, not believing I had heard correctly. The one, I said, I'll make you reincarnate in one of my many dimensions or universes, whatever you want to call it, he said calmly. Me, really? But, why me? I asked confused. The one, I've seen your life, it hasn't been very happy, besides that you've led a complicated life, more so because of the fact that you died from that deadly disease that is ravaging your world. Me, oh yeah, COVID. The one, calm down, in my universes there has never been nor will there ever be a disease like that. Returning to the previous topic, I chose you so that you could improve your life, besides that you are someone with a noble heart. I could see when one day you bought a lottery ticket to try to win luck, what happened? You won $5 million, and what did you do with them? Instead of using them for yourself, you distributed it and gave it to different foundations for homeless children or also to help the homeless. Many called you stupid or idiot for your decision. They even beat you for the supposed idiocy you did, but you never cared and just ignored them. For that and for your other aspects I have chosen you, because you did not want to be a wealthy or prestigious person, but a good man. The supreme god of Marvel gave a proud smile. Me, thank you, it makes me happy to be praised by someone like you. The one, so what do you say? Do you accept my proposal to have you reborn in one of my universes, as I did with the ones before you? Or do I return your soul to the God of your world so he can take you to heaven? Me, well, if there were others in my world before me who accepted a new life in their universes, and I am given this same opportunity, then damn it, Mr. The One. Of course I accept being reborn in one of the Marvel universes. I said excitedly. The one, great. So, how about I send you to be reborn on Earth 2149? He asked maliciously. Me, no. I beg you. Not that land. Anyone but that land. I exclaimed, totally scared to the point of crying from fear of being sent to be reborn or reincarnated in that land. The one, ha 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 ha. Calm down boy, it was just a joke, ha ha ha. Me, don't make those jokes, Mr. The One. I'll get a big scare. The one, I have a better idea. Me, Which one? The one, I will create a new universe to send you to your new life. Me, is that possible? I was surprised. The one, boy, I have created countless universes that have not yet been shown in your world, do you really think I couldn't do it? Me, very true, sorry for the silly question I asked, V. The one, the question here is, what kind of universe should I create to send you to? Me, there are so many things about Marvel that I love, so many heroes that I wish existed, even if they are not the real ones, that would be great, I said thoughtfully but smiling. The one, really? I'll see what's on your mind. The supreme god of Marvel would proceed to look into my memories, he would see the things that I wish there were, after a few moments he speaks. The one, I see, so you would like all that to be there, huh? Me, what did you see in my head? The one, what is needed to know what universe to create? Well, here I go. The one above all would make his eyes shine brightly, after a few moments the glow ceased, and I was confused. Me, what happened? I asked confused. The one, ready, there it is. Me, huh? I would turn my gaze in confusion, but when I did I was shocked by what I saw. Me, but what is this? The one, it's the universe I just created to send you to your new life, he said calmly. Me, so fast? The one, yes, and I also saw who you admire most of all the heroes that exist. Well, it's time, but before sending you, you should know that you will be reborn, meaning you will be born as a baby and grow up, but you will not remember anything from your first life, but don't worry, it's temporary, when you turn 18 your memories will return. Me, I can handle that, I accept. The one, okay, one more thing, you have the right to 3 wishes. Me, really? Great. The one, yeah, well? What do you want? Me, well as a first wish, I want to have mental mutant powers. It would be dangerous if someone with a strange device enters my head and sees my memories, that could cause serious and even existential problems for obvious reasons. As a second wish, I want to have a cerebral level equal to Reed Richards, but the Earth 616 version. And as a third wish, I would like to take some things from my world if it is not a bother, more exactly what I am imagining now. The one would see in my head the things I wanted. The one, okay, that's all simple, good, everything's ready, it's time, good luck kid. Marvel's supreme god would make his eyes shine, causing him to begin to disappear into luminous particles. Me, thank you for this Mr. The One, I really appreciate it. The one, good luck in your new life, boy, and be happy. After saying that I would dissolve completely and the particles would dissolve into the new universe that the one had created for me. The sun's rays would reach my face, I would wake up feeling a little heavy. Me, phew, another day, well, yesterday I turned 18, the good thing is that. At that moment, a great pain would come to my head, it would be so strong that I would fall out of bed while holding my head while making moans of pain. After 1 minute, I calm down and get up and see everything from a new perspective. Me, my memories of my first life came back, Mr. The One didn't lie, I'm in the Marvel universe and. 1 minute, this voice sounds familiar, a mirror, where there's a mirror. I would look at my room, where there was a computer and several notebooks around, in addition to some small disassembled devices. I would look elsewhere finding a mirror, I would approach and see my reflection, and when I did so I almost screamed from the shock. Me, but what? I'm Peter Parker. I thought totally shocked, which means, I'm going to be Spider-Man. Oh yes. I was so excited that I could dance, but I was surprised once again to see that my face was that of Peter Parker from the PS5 version of Spider-Man Remastered, Ben Jordan's Peter Parker, which I really liked because this Peter was handsome. From now on the story will be read in third person. Peter, I'm a disgrace to nature, he said when he saw his body in the mirror that he was skinny, very skinny, apparently I haven't suffered from the spider bite yet, damn it. At that moment he hears someone knocking on the door. Parker approaches to open it and when he does so he is surprised to see who it was, although he managed to hide it. Aunt May, Peter Jr., good morning, it's time to get up, you have school, she showed him a motherly smile. Peter, good morning Aunt May, and yes, I'll get ready, I'll be down in a few moments, he said smiling at her. Aunt May, well, don't take too long. She turns away, Peter closes the door with a sigh. Peter, she's Aunt May from the Sam Raimi universe. I need to connect my memories of my old life in this one so I don't have any more surprises. Peter would sit on the floor in the lotus position to proceed to see his memories, in that he began to receive his memories of this life, his childhood, his growth, his neighbors, his knowledge about the city, It would take at least 10 minutes to see all the memories of this life, in which he gives a sigh for something. Peter, that's good. I've been a lonely boy and isolated from the others in high school. I don't have any friends, all because I don't have courage and I'm a nerd. Great, I was upset about that. I have no choice but to be like this for a while, at least until after the spider bite. Let's see if my wish to bring some things from my home world worked. He would see a cell phone on a table, assuming it was his, then he grabbed it and started searching through the device. Peter, perfect, most of the stuff from my old world cell phone is here, let's find something to listen to. Peter, perfect, most of the stuff from my old world phone is here, let's find something to listen to. I found it, now, play. Music would come out of the cell phone to your liking. Me, yes. Inspirational music. Now to get dressed for high school. Peter would get me ready to go to high school. After a while he grabbed his things, grabbed his cell phone and turned off the music. He went down to greet whoever was missing. When he saw him he smiled. Peter, good morning Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben, Peter, good morning son, sit down for breakfast. Peter, I'm sorry uncle but I can't, today there is a very important exam and I want to be at the academy early to study more, I'll just take a snack. He would grab a bread. I love you all, bye. Aunt May, yes Peter but be careful. Uncle Ben, let him be May, the boy wants to improve every day, you know Peter. Uncle Ben, let him be May, the boy wants to improve every day, you know Peter. The older woman just sighed as she returned to her cheeses. The chestnut would walk through the streets of New York, he didn't deny it, for God's sake, we have to be aware of where he lives now. Peter, the beautiful city of New York, this is a dream come true. I live in the city that never sleeps. He would look around in wonder. Peter would be dressed like this. Peter would be dressed like this. At that moment, he received a notification on his cell phone. He looked up what it was about, and when he did, he was surprised, especially by the message it said. The one, welcome to Earth 24616, good luck in your new life, Peter Parker. Note, this Earth is my creation, let's continue. Peter would smile at this as he put away his cell phone and continued on his way. After a few moments, and from his memories, he would arrive at what was apparently Midtown High School. Peter, it's Midtown High School from the amazing Spider-Man universe. I thought in surprise, because I didn't expect the high school from that universe to be on this Earth. In that he would look amazed at the surroundings by how enormous the high school was, but his vision would be interrupted by locating someone he did not expect to see in this land. Peter, it's Mary Jane Watson. But she's the actress Kristen Dunst, from the Tobey Maguire universe. I didn't expect this. He thought in surprise. It was one thing to see her through a television, but seeing her in front of his eyes was a completely different level. He finally understood why Tobey's Peter Parker was so in love with her. Mary Jane really was beautiful, charming, dazzling. Then he sees her meet up with some friends and go inside the academy. The brown-haired boy sighed, but when he saw a memory that came to his head. Peter, damn Parker. You didn't even have the courage to talk to her even though you were neighbors. I'm regretting accepting the deal to get my memories back at 18. I should have told the one that I wanted to come with these from the beginning, but the damage is already done. I have no choice but to accept it. He gave a bitter sigh as he headed to the entrance. But before doing so he noticed how a crowd was gathered while supporting something. He couldn't see what it was because of the crowd, but to satisfy his curiosity he decided to get closer to see what it was all about. When he did he saw a very familiar scene. Me, Flash Thompson. He saw how Flash was bothering a boy as always, humiliating him in front of everyone while the other students laughed. He would see the affected boy and he just had his gaze lowered in shame. In that I would remember a scene I saw in the movie Captain America, The First Avenger, some words that touched my heart. Steve, once you run away, they never stop. You get up, you fight back, but you can't run away forever. Peter, Cap is right. The brunette just watched the scene with anger while clenching his fists, but he would also remember when Flash used to humiliate him in very embarrassing ways long before recovering his memories. Hell, wait for the spider bite. If he was going to make a change in Peter Parker, he would do it today. Peter got into the crowd pushing them aside. They looked at him strangely as they noticed how I was approaching where Flash was, until finally I arrived at the place where the humiliation was taking place. He placed me a few meters in front of Flash, who turned around and smiled arrogantly. Flash, hey Parker, just in time, take out your camera and take a picture of this loser, he said, giving a sap to the affected boy. Peter, what if you jumped off a cliff, Flash? You'd be doing the world a favor, he said with a smile and crossed his arms. Everyone, absolutely everyone, was surprised by what had come out of his mouth, but Flash himself even more so. because they couldn't believe it. At that point, he heard some murmurs. Student 1, is Parker challenging Flash? He said in surprise. Student 2, have you gone crazy? They're going to crush him. Student 3, poor thing, I already feel sorry for Parker. Student 4, not me, he asked for it. Peter just ignored everything that was happening around him, and just looked at Flash, who was surprised by what he said, but then he smiled arrogantly. Flash, wow, Parker, today you woke up with an air of bravery, or stupidity, have you forgotten who you're talking to? He asked, getting closer. Peter, no, of course not, I know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to a crazy idiot who has a rock instead of a brain. Am I wrong? He said with a serious look facing him. Once again everyone was more than amazed by what they heard, because they couldn't believe it, and least of all Flash, when someone entered the crowd and saw the scene and was surprised, but at the same time worried. Mary Jane, Peter? He continues and looks at the students around him. Peter, students. It's so easy to say that Flash is annoying the weak just because he's stupid. Or am I wrong? Many were surprised by his words. Flash began to frown because of the anger he was feeling, but no, sir, Peter was not going to end it there. Peter, no, of course not, our friend Flash here. It's more complex than that. You see. According to psychiatric studies, Flash is a bully for one of 3 reasons. Everyone paid attention to what the chestnut tree was going to say. Peter, number 1. Underneath all that macho bravado, there's an insecure little girl banging her way out of the closet. Some students started to laugh lightly at his words. Mary Jane was speechless by what I was saying, and Flash was getting angrier and angrier, but Peter had plans to end it right there. Peter, number 2. Like the cavemen, Flash's brain is, how should I put it, underdeveloped, which is why Flash is incapable of self-control, which is why he acts very aggressive. Most of the students laughed even more at his words, even Mary Jane started to catch my humor. Me, and, reason number 3. And the most likely one, Flash has a small one. Boom. That was the trigger for all the students around to start laughing out loud at his words. Mary Jane also laughed lightly at his words. Peter just looked at Flash, who clenched his fists tightly and boom. That was the trigger for all the students around to start laughing out loud without stopping at his words. Mary Jane also laughed lightly at his words. Peter just looked at Flash, who clenches his fists tightly and looks at him murderously. Flash, Parker, it's going to hurt you. Flash runs towards Peter to give him a direct punch, but the brunette only gives a sigh as he steps aside and puts a foot on him, causing him to fall to the ground. Everyone without exception was amazed by this action he did. Peter, you lose your mind easily and attack without reason, that makes you predictable, he said looking at him on the ground. Flash just clenched his fists because of the situation he was going through. Peter, what's wrong, son? Did you find a coin on the ground? He said with a smile, surprising everyone again. Flash gets up annoyed, he looks at Parker with fury, then tries to hit him, but Peter only stops him with one hand, then with the other hand he takes him by the shoulder and pushes him to the other side. Everyone was surprised by this, they could not believe what their eyes saw. Student 1, is Parker holding back Flash? Student 2, what's wrong with Parker today? Student 3, it's like he's someone else. Mary Jane, Peter, she was worried. Peter just smiled internally at what he heard around him. Then he saw Flash get up angrily as he approached again. Flash, what do you want to play with, Parker? Okay. Show me what you got. He got into a fighting stance. Peter just threw his backpack aside as he rolled up his jacket sleeves and looked at Flash seriously. Peter, gladly. Said in a fighting pose. Everyone was amazed by the pose he was in, because it was clear that he was not leaving any opening to fight. It seemed that Parker had knowledge about fighting, and it was true, because in his home world, he attended self-defense academies, because he lived in a dangerous area where they used to rob often, and I needed to defend myself, and wow, it was useful to me. Flash also noticed the pose, but said nothing, because he was so angry at the humiliation he received that he was not thinking clearly. But just before this began, a firm voice was heard. Teacher, what's going on here? Peter stopped his pose while smiling widely. Peter, oh, it's okay Professor Strickland, it's just that Flash and I had a little argument. But we came to a preferential, almost careful, and perhaps loving and tender agreement, he said with an arm on Flash's shoulder. Many students laughed at his antics, covering their mouths as the teacher was present, while Flash was neutral. Peter, but seriously, nothing happened Professor, Flash and I are fine, and without any problem, he said smiling. Professor, Mr. Thompson, is it true? He saw Flash. Flash, yes, that's right, Professor, nothing happened here, he said with a fake smile while burning with anger inside. Teacher, okay, then go to class, what are you waiting for? Do you want to be lazy? Everything dissolved. Flash looked at him in a bad way before grabbing his backpack and leaving somewhere else. At that moment Peter approached the boy that Flash had bothered and held out his hand. Peter, are you okay, friend? Boy, yes, thanks, you're Peter, right? Peter, that's right, well, see you. He would grab his things and proceed to enter the academy, but then several people were talking to him. Student 1, Parker, that was amazing. Student 2, hey Parker, you were great. Student 3, you stood up to Flash, that's how it's done, Parker. He would smile at this, as he continued on his way. Once inside, I knew which was his locker from his memories of this world. He took what was necessary and proceeded to go to his classroom. Then he sat in his assigned place, while he took out some things, but then he heard a voice calling him. PSS, hey, hey. Peter would look up, and when he did he was captivated to see who was speaking to me. Peter, the beautiful actress Emma Stone. But in this universe Gwen Stacy also exists in this universe? Gwen, you know, normally I'm against violence, but seeing how Flash treated you for all this time, I think you did the right thing. I think it was time you showed your rights, but for the fact of helping that boy with his problem, you're very noble. Gwen, you know, I'm normally against violence, but seeing how Flash treated you all this time, I think you did the right thing. I think it was time you stood up for yourself, especially for helping that kid with his problem, and... Peter, thanks, and you're too pretty to be real, he said, smiling at her. Gwen, wow, I thought you were someone nervous and reserved, she said with a sly smile. Me, it was, that Peter died, smiles without stopping looking at her. The girl, noticing the prolonged eye contact, blushed slightly, admitting that this boy was handsome, despite wearing glasses. Gwen, how presumptuous, she smiled shyly. Me, damn, she really is beautiful, Tilda, I think, without stopping looking at her. Gwen, what's your name? Me, you don't know my name? Gwen, no, I do know your name, I just want you to remind me, she said without removing her smile. Me, I'm Peter, Peter Parker. Gwen, Peter Parker, okay. Me, and you must be, Gwen, right? Gwen, yes, that's right, Gwen Stacy. Me, I won't forget it. Gwen, for your sake I hope not, she said, playing along. After a few moments the class would start. While they were studying, Peter was completely stunned. Peter, it can't be. This is all too easy for me. Is this the power of Reed Richards' knowledge? It's great, he said in surprise while doing some math and physics exercises. They would spend about 4 hours where they would see mathematics, physics, biology, and science. Then the time for recess arrives. Peter headed to the school cafeteria, in which he would hear from several students about how he humiliated Flash. Apparently this would continue for the rest of the day, but he did not care at all. After a few moments later he would have a tray in hand. The brown-haired man would look for an empty place to sit, then he sees an empty table and heads towards that place, but before putting his tray in the place, he would crash into another. He looked up and saw a brown-haired girl, who looked at him in surprise. Me, how pretty, I thought, looking at her. Wait a minute, that face looks familiar, but from where? Ah, don't worry, you can sit here, I'll find another place for myself, I said, ready to leave. No, wait, I don't really care, it's actually my first day at this school, and I'd like to make friends with someone, so I don't mind, he said quickly. Me, okay, I accept the deal, smiles as he sits down. Thank you, he said, smiling at her attitude. They both sat at the table as they started to eat, but the girl noticed that he was studying while eating. Hey genius, haven't you heard that it's rude to study while eating? Peter, a very important exam is coming up, and I need to be prepared, he said, putting a sandwich in his mouth. Ah, you must be desperate to get a good grade, huh? She gave him a sly smile. Let me see that test. She grabbed a test that was next to her. Peter, hey wait. Let's see, Peter Richard Benjamin Parker, math exam, and his score is duh. She puts on a look of total surprise when she sees my notes. 100 points? This is, she looks at him. Me, oh no God. How embarrassing. Said dramatically. She frowns. You let me see this on purpose, right? She put the test next to me. Peter, ha ha ha. Maybe, sorry about that, I said, laughing slightly. HMP. Okay, I admit I'm not good at studying, and my academic performance is low, okay? She said with her arms crossed. But then an idea comes to him. Hey, Brainiac, how about you help me study? I think I could improve a bit if you helped me, what do you say? He said with a smile. He just stares at her while thinking about something else. Peter, I'm sure I've seen that face somewhere, but I don't remember where, but it's familiar to me, he thought, staring at her. I have no problem with it, but don't you think we should introduce ourselves first? Point in favor, he said smiling. Peter, well, as you saw on my test, my name is Peter Parker, nice to meet you, he said smiling. She smiles back, unaware that the brunette would be in total shock at the name he would hear next. Nice to meet you, Peter, my name is Laura Kinney, it's a pleasure. The chestnut sandwich would fall from his hands while a face of total perplexity appeared on his face. Everything around him seemed to remain silent while he began to sweat cold from the name he had just heard. Laura Kinney? Logan's daughter? But what is she doing in this academy? This never happened in any universe that I know, but more than anything, do mutants exist in this universe? Shit. Besides, I already remembered, that face belongs to the actress Kristen Stewart. But if she is Laura Kinney, why does she have that face? He thought, totally bewildered. Laura, Peter? Are you okay? What's wrong? She asked, confused, seeing how he looked at her. Peter, eh? Ah. No, nothing, I was just thinking about something. Anyway, nice to meet you, Laura, he said with a try to sound normal. Laura, okay, too? Will you help me? I asked hopefully. Peter, I'll help you, he said smiling. Laura, thanks Peter, I owe you that. Me, don't worry, anything to help a friend. Wolverine's daughter would smile at this, so both would continue eating. After this they would return to classes. Laura would be introduced to everyone. She would look for a place to sit, but when the brown-haired boy noticed a free seat next to her, she wouldn't think twice and would sit next to him, where she would smile at him, and he responded in the same way, leaving many in the room surprised that such a pretty girl would sit next to him. After a while, classes would end, Peter would get ready to leave. He had a lot to think about right now. He had discovered many things today, but then he heard someone call him. Mary Jane, Peter. Peter, Mary Jane? What are you doing here? Mary Jane, well, I wanted to talk to you about some things, she said, standing next to me. Peter, aha, I'm listening, I said while watching her. Mary Jane, first of all, why did you confront Flash like that? Peter, because I was fed up, I got tired of him always making fun of others. Someone had to put him in his place, he said seriously. Mary Jane, I understand, but what would have happened if Master Strickland hadn't shown up? Peter, simple, things would have gotten ugly, he said simply. Mary Jane, and you say it that simply? Peter, I don't know why you care about me, we're not even friends, he said looking at her. Mary Jane, what do you mean? Peter, that's right, we're just neighbors, we say hello, we say goodbye, sometimes we meet on the streets and say hello, we go to school and each of us goes our separate ways, it's that simple. Mary Jane, Peter, don't say that, you make me feel bad, she said with a sad look. Peter, and it's not true? He said looking at her. She would start to remember and it was true, every word that came out of the future Spider-Man was true, they were neighbors who lived in houses together, but nothing ever happened besides a simple hello or goodbye, no topic of conversation, nothing happened between these two, and it was like that since she could remember. Mary Jane began to feel the worst in those moments. Mary Jane, I haven't been a good friend to you, have I? She said without looking at him out of embarrassment. Peter, what did I tell you a few moments ago? Sighs, look, I'm used to being alone, right? So it doesn't matter anymore. He said unimportantly. Mary Jane, Peter, that's not healthy. Peter, well neither is drinking liquor or cigarettes, but you get used to it over time, he said shrugging his shoulders. At that moment, the sound of a car was heard. They both turned around and saw a convertible, inside a couple of girls calling Mary Jane. Peter, your friends arrived, see you Mary Jane, he said starting to walk. Mary Jane, wait, Peter, please. I don't want this to stay like this. Sadness was evident in her voice. Peter, don't worry about me, okay? I'm fine, really. You better go. Don't keep your friends waiting. See you later, Mary Jane. He gave her a soft smile and then continued on his way home. The redhead just stood there, watching him walk away from her direction. a small tear falling from her eye as she watched him leave. Mary Jane, I'm a horrible person, how could I not have realized this before? Her voice cracked, I have to do something, I don't want this to stay like this. Her words were firm as she turned around and went to her friends. It had been 2 weeks since the brown-haired boy awakened his memories of his previous life and was now Peter Parker. He had finally started to make friends, starting with Gwen Stacy and Laura Kinney, the daughter of Wolverine. His friendship with them was good, especially with Gwen. They both had a lot in common and had happy times. Anyway, it was a weekend, and he was at home helping Uncle Ben in the basement. Peter, God, how is this? He said, looking at the floor full of water. Uncle Ben, yeah, I think it has to do with the capacitor. Peter, I don't think so, it's too much water for the condenser, it must be the hose. Uncle Ben, yeah, that sounds logical to me, could you fix it, son? Peter, sure, but not today, I'll go to the hardware store tomorrow. Uncle Ben, okay son, I'll see you upstairs, take whatever can be saved from the water, he said going up the stairs. Parker would listen and put some things in order, but when he moved a box under the stairs, a secret compartment would open, from which something that Peter would recognize very well would be seen. A briefcase with initials he recognized well would be in front of him. Peter, wow, he thought with slight surprise, don't fuck with me, does this earth cover the events of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man? He said while taking the briefcase, I'd better take this to my room and analyze it. Parker would go up the stairs with the briefcase and see his uncles in the kitchen. Seeing that they didn't notice him, he would quickly go up the stairs and reach his room, closing the door and starting to reflect on some things. Peter, let's see, I was reborn in a new land created by the one which is apparently in land known as 24,616. I have the face of Peter Parker from the Spider-Man remastered game for PS5, but it seems that the events of this land are the same as those of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Is this land a combination of different events that would align perfectly to create a new story? I'll think about that later, for now, let's see what's in this briefcase. He would open the briefcase and begin to analyze it, finding several things belonging to the man who was apparently his father on Earth, Richard Parker. After handling the briefcase, he would find what he had been waiting for. Peter, I knew it, he said, analyzing his discovery. Decay algorithm, the lost limb regeneration algorithm, interesting. Having the brain capacity of Reed Richards 616, it would be incredible for him to understand this entire formula. He would decide to solve that algorithm at this moment, so he brings some geometric and physics books beginning to study the symbols that make up the formula. In this way he would be studying everything for 4 long hours. He already seemed to have an idea of how to perfect the algorithm, in that he decides to take a break and in that I see a photo. Peter, Dr. Curtis Connors is the same one from Andrew Garfield's universe, so that means my father experimented on me when I was a baby. What a great example to follow. Anyway, I still have time. What if I sign up as an intern to enter Oscorp and get bitten by the spider? Seriously, I really need to become Spider-Man. Peter would log on to his computer and visit the official Oscorp Industries website, but to his surprise, there was no sign-up notice for interns at the company. Peter, curious, moving the mouse, it's supposed to be the internship registration notice for Oscorp, why not? Oh right, damn, the butterfly effect, history is changing. The disappointed brown-haired boy turned off his computer and headed to bed. Night had already fallen, and he started thinking about some things. Peter, I don't know what kind of challenges await me after receiving the spider bite, but no matter what, I will overcome them, each and every one of them. I was never happy in my first life. I grew up in an orphanage. It seems my parents abandoned me. I grew up without friends and with a job and a boring, everyday and repetitive life, but now, I was reborn in one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and now I have a family of my own, which I will protect with all my being, and now I forged bonds of friendship. He said it thinking about Gwen and Laura. This life will be unique, no, not unique, spectacular. At that moment he heard screams coming from the house next door. He looked out the window and saw that it was Mary Jane's parents arguing. I feel a little sorry for MJ, it must be horrible to have parents like that. He would go down to the kitchen and see that there was no one there. Then I see a note from his uncles telling me that they went out to visit some friends they haven't seen in years. Then he decides to go out to the backyard to get some fresh air. Peter, I would like to become independent and live alone. I want my own privacy, maybe I will do that later. At that moment he hears a door open. He turns around and sees Mary Jane coming out while she had some tears in her eyes. She sees him. Mary Jane, did you hear all that? Peter, okay, I won't lie to you, I did hear something. Mary Jane, I knew it. Peter, come on, everyone screams, it's normal. Mary Jane, your Aunt May and your Uncle Ben don't. Peter, believe me when I tell you that sometimes they scream a lot. Mary Jane, hey, that sounds hard to believe, she said, smiling at him. Peter, pretty, but not enough to charm me. Hey, come here. Mary Jane, why? Peter, just do it. The redhead would listen and approach, and she was surprised to see how Peter would wipe the tears from her face. Peter, that's better, you shouldn't cry, painful moments are fleeting, besides, a unique specimen like you should smile instead of crying, he said, smiling at her. Mary Jane, Peter, a red tint would appear on her cheeks. Mary Jane, Peter, I know we still have a year left until we graduate, but do you have any plans after graduation? Peter, something like that. I think I'll go to the city to look for a job immediately, something suitable for my abilities to support myself, and get my own apartment. I want my own privacy, but I'm not crazy about working at the Daily Bugle for the narcissistic anti-spider J.J. Jameson, he would think with a grimace. And you, do you have plans? Mary Jane, yes, I also want to go to the city, I urgently need to get out of here, I would say, looking at the night sky, besides, I want to. Peter, what? Mary Jane, me. Peter, come on, tell me, share the precious and deep intimate secret with me. Mary Jane, ha ha, I want to act, be an actress, or even a journalist, she said, smiling. Peter, oh yeah? Well, you'll be the best. You were incredible in the school plays, and on the acting side. He told her, since he had those memories in his head. Mary Jane, do you think so? I asked hopefully. Peter, totally, I remember when you got completely into character, you really shined in the role of Cinderella, I said, smiling at him. Mary Jane, Peter, that was in first grade, she was surprised that he remembered something from years ago. Peter, well, I'll just tell you that if you know people well, you'll know what awaits them, I said, looking at the sky with some stars. The redhead had a new red tint on her cheeks as she watched him. But she would also feel horrible remembering their last conversation. While he remembered things about her even from childhood, she knew almost nothing about him. But she was going to change that. Mary Jane, and what do you think awaits you? I ask, very interested. Peter, me? I have an amazing life ahead of me. No, not amazing. Spectacular. He said, excited about what would happen to him sometime in the coming days. Mary Jane, hee hee, spectacular, huh? She laughed slightly. So, what's in it for me? Peter, for you, beautiful, you will shine on Broadway, or you will shine in the New York Diaries, you will be someone incredible, you just have to persevere, he said, smiling at her, just have faith, and you will achieve your dreams, MJ. Mary Jane, MJ? Peter, well, it's a nickname, but if you don't like it, I'll still call you Mary Jane. No, it's okay, I was just surprised, Peter. Peter, yes? I said, looking at her. Mary Jane, you've changed, considerably. Peter, do you think so? Mary Jane, totally, she said, looking at him. It was no wonder, before recovering his memories, he used to wear very loose clothes that covered almost his entire body, making him look pathetic. Now he had a blue and gray plaid shirt with the sleeves rolled up, in addition to wearing black jeans a little tight. Another thing to notice is that he did not want to wait for his body to change after the spider bite, so he started going to a gym to get stronger, and wow, he started to change in just 2 weeks. He began to gain some changes in his body, but not as much as the body he will have after being bitten by the spider, but it was something noticeable, because now it was time to make a radical change in his life, and that's what he was going to do. Mary Jane, Peter, I know it's been 2 weeks, and believe me, I haven't forgotten what I told you a while ago. I really want things to change for the better between us. She gave a sad look. Peter, oh yeah? I said, looking at her. Mary Jane, yes, At that, more screams would be heard coming from Mary Jane's house, her parents yelling at each other again. Upon hearing that, the redhead just lowered her head, showing total shame, and her mood dropped again. Peter, hey, MJ, look at me. He would take her by the chin, raising her gaze so that she could see him. She was surprised by the action, but said nothing. Peter, you want to leave? You want to get out of here? Let's go. Mary Jane, what? But where? I asked, confused. Peter, wherever, anything to forget this bad atmosphere. You said you want to start over with me, that you wanted to change things between us, so come on, let's get out of here and have fun. I heard about a fair there is before reaching the city, do you want to go? She would look into his eyes and could see a great person through me. She nodding takes his hand. Mary Jane, Yes, I would like to, let's go. With everything decided, the two of them went in silence to the fair he had mentioned. It was needless to say how much fun they had together. They went to different attractions, they ate, they chatted, finally they started to get to know each other in a real way. You could see that MJ was really having fun. They were in that place for 3 hours. After that time, the two of them had returned. Mary Jane, my parents will scold me for arriving at this time, she said looking at the entrance of her house, but it was worth it. Thank you Peter, for giving me this opportunity, really being with you is very nice, she smiles at him. Peter, the feeling is mutual, I had fun with you too, and I think I can help you with this problem, follow me. At that point he entered his house with Mary Jane and guided her to his room. Mary Jane, you have a very clean and tidy room, she said looking around. Peter, thanks, well, there's the way to help you, he said opening the window. She then sees that between their houses, there is the tree that separated their homes. She also notices some thick branches that served as a bridge between his window and hers. Mary Jane finally understood the point. Peter, do you think you can cross to your window without fear of falling? Mary Jane, sure, it was good to leave my window open, it usually gets a little warm in my room. She climbed up to the window ready to cross, but before doing so she sees him. Mary Jane, thank you, Peter, for giving me this opportunity, and also for tonight. You made me forget my troubles. I hope this starts a real friendship between us. Peter, that will depend on how you see it, I said with my arms crossed. Mary Jane, I know, and this time I'll be better, I promise. Well, rest tiger, she winks at me. Peter, did you just call me a tiger? I ask, raising an eyebrow. Mary Jane, you gave me a nickname, now it's my turn to give you one, see you later. Without further ado, she carefully begins to walk along the branches of the tree, which were very strong, until she manages to reach her window. The chestnut tree just closes its window while sighing as it throws itself onto its bed. Peter, he just called me with the nickname that he usually calls Peter Parker in most of the Earths of the multiverse. Maybe it is Peter Parker's destiny to be called that by MJ, but well, I won't give it any more thought, I better go to sleep. He just went to sleep, and 2 hours later his uncles had returned home. It was a Saturday, there were no classes, so Peter saw through the window how MJ went with her friends to the city, so he didn't give it importance and concentrated on looking deeper into his memories, in that he sees some things in his head. Peter, Harry Osborn on this earth decided to go study in England 3 years ago, and from what I remember, he is a very good friend of mine, and his face is from the Tobey Maguire universe, which would imply that Norman Osborn is also from that earth. Well, now, I'll see how much my mental capacity is with the brain potential of Reed Richards 616. In this, he would use different books from higher education and universities and would try to understand and solve these problems, and what a surprise he was. Peter, wow. Everything is so simple. Even things I haven't been taught yet, I pick up at an incredible speed. Richard's brain is full of potential. After learning what he is capable of with this wonderful intellect, he decided to continue with the development of his father Richard's decay algorithm, after about 2 hours later. Peter, done. He said, looking at the perfected formula in the notebook, but it's still too early to meet with Connors and show it to him, so I'll do it at the right time. He would look at his watch and realize that it was time to go to the gym, so he told his uncles, who were still surprised by what he decided 2 weeks ago, but they would nod, so he would head to the gym. Once he arrived, he went to a punching bag and started training on it. Bang! 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 Peter, I will be stronger, I will not be anyone's shadow or protege. No one will make fun of me, he said determinedly. At that moment some images come to my head. Green Goblin, misfortune, 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 that's what you wanted to be, you're so pathetically predictable, Spider-Man, like an insect to a flame. Despite what you do for them, they'll hate you in the end. He would start hitting the bag harder. Bang! 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 Another image would come to his head. Lizard, poor Peter Parker, without a mother, without a father, without an uncle. You're alone. You are alone. Peter, harder. Hit like Goku. He would think while hitting the bag harder. Bang! 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 Everyone else would notice how he was starting to leave very noticeable marks on the sandbag and would stare at him, but he would be focused, and because of what he remembered, he would be more determined as he recalled one more scene. Tony, no, shut up here. While the adult is talking. I was the only one who trusted you while everyone else called me crazy for recruiting a 14-year-old. I trusted you. But I see it didn't work out. You're not worthy, and it seems you never were, it's that simple. But I see that it didn't work, you're not worthy, and apparently you never were, it's that simple. Peter, fuck you Stark. In this universe, I'll be the sugar daddy. Bang. 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 Bang, bang. This would finally pass through the bag with the last blow, causing the sand to spill onto the ground. Everyone who saw it was more than amazed by this. Peter reacted, he saw what he did and was surprised. Then he noticed everyone looking at him with shocked faces, and that made him uncomfortable. Peter, I'll pay for it, I promise. After 3 hours he decided to return home. When he returned he took a bath while thinking about some things. Peter, what happened? How was I able to break that sack? Could it be because of what my father did to me as a baby? If so, what kind of strength will I have when I receive the spider bite? But I do know one thing, Spider-Man has great strength, so much so that he was able to hold up half of an entire building and was able to fight the Hulk himself. The advantage of knowing this, thanks to reading the comics, I can't wait for that day to come. After a while he would go out, change, and think about a few things. Peter, I would create the Spider-Man suit in advance if I didn't have the materials, but I don't, and I'm not going to ask my uncles for money. We're in a very bad economic situation and what Uncle Ben earns isn't enough. I need to work, but where? This is disgusting. He would fall onto the bed while sighing. At that point an idea comes to his head. Wait, what if, I need to see. Peter would approach some drawers and see a pile of computer chips and memories, as well as other devices. Peter, will that be enough? What does it matter? No achievement comes without risk. It's time to test Reed 616's brain power. But first, inspirational music. He would take his phone and play music on YouTube that, luckily for him, also existed in this world. Peter, phew. I feel the motivation in me, let's work. After that, he would use the memories that were in his desk drawers to then connect them to his computer and begin with his objective. He would use several programs or those that he didn't have, he would download them legally. After a few hours, he was making very positive progress. Peter, good. Now I just need a place to install it. That's what his glasses would look like. That's what I would look at with my glasses. Peter, haha. Perfect. This one would take the glasses and proceed to make a small hole on the right side and then proceed to insert a small chip, then he would connect it to the computer while clicking and a transferring notice would appear accompanied by a percentage of 10, 20, 30, until it reached 100%. Peter, I hope it works, I've been working on this for 6 hours, too fast to tell the truth, thanks to Reed's brain, I wonder if it took Tony Stark the same amount of time to create this, I can assume it took him less knowing how smart he is. After 30 minutes, the transfer would reach 100%, Peter would disconnect his glasses and proceed to put them on, then he presses a small button that he installed on the right side of the glasses, then the lenses shine for a few seconds, he gives a sigh while saying the first order. Peter, okay, start visual interface. In this way, a virtual screen would be displayed through the glasses and would begin to load until the system started working. In that, a virtual screen would be shown through the glasses that would begin to load until the system started working. Peter, I can't believe it. It works. And I did it the same way as the PS4 Spider-Man game. Okay. Face and voice recognition. Now. At that moment a female voice is heard in the glasses. AI, face and voice recognition completed, system stability at 100%. Greetings my creator, it's a pleasure talking to you for the first time. The chestnut tree would be excited, his work was successful. Peter, yes. I did it. I created my own AI. Artificial intelligence, I would say with total excitement, if Tony Stark could build his first Iron Man in a cave with rusty metal, then I could create my own AI in my room, with some common computer chips ha ha ha. Thanks Brain Richards. AI, creator, I need to know if I will be named as you wish or if I will keep my technological name AI. Peter, you're right, you need a name, calling you just IA would be weird, okay, from now on you'll be called Veronica, okay? Veronica, understood, sir. Peter, well, it would be nice to test your skills. Veronica, please analyze the weather and give me predicted results. Veronica, understood, sir. Cloudy skies are forecast and in approximately 2 hours and 26 minutes a shower will begin that will last 5 hours and 13 minutes. Peter, how specific? He looked at the sky out the window and sure enough, it was starting to cloud over, phew. Too bad the weather service isn't that accurate most of the time. Test 2, Veronica. Get on the NYPD radio and let me listen. Veronica, understood, NYPD radio hack successful. Radio, attention units 22 and 36, an armed robbery is reported very close to your position at the McDonald's located in Times Square. Peter, phew. Great. I'll be taking care of those crimes soon, he said, taking off his glasses. This is wonderful. For now, it has limitations, but later, with better resources, I'll improve it. For now, I'm happy with my achievement. Sunday arrived, but there was nothing interesting. Monday arrived, Peter was heading to his living room. In that. Gwen, good morning Peter, she said with her sweet smile. Peter, hi Gwen, I see you woke up in good spirits, he said smiling at her. He was dressed like in the photo. Gwen, I'm always positive, and you? Peter, almost, I woke up fine today, but when I entered the academy and saw you, it changed my day 100%. I wink at him. The blonde looked away as a reddish tint marked her white cheeks. Gwen, oh, silly. She tapped me on the shoulder. Peter, what? It's the truth. I said laughing. Gwen, so, where are you going? Peter, well, I have history class, and you? Gwen, physics class, well then we'll see each other in math class, okay? Peter, sure, see you later. Gwen gave him a smile before turning around and leaving, but he could see how embarrassed she was as she hugged her notebooks tightly. How cute, but then an idea came to her, she quickly put on her glasses. Peter, Veronica, give me a simple analysis of Gwen. Veronica, at your service, sir. Before Gwen was lost among the other students, the glasses caught her, and a scanning notice appeared, and a list of simple details quickly appeared. Veronica, analysis completed. Name, Gwendolyn Stacy. Age, 17 years. Place of birth, New York. Occupation, student and researcher at Oscorp Industries. Age, 17 years. Place of birth, New York. Occupation, student and researcher at Oscorp Industries. Family members, George Stacy, father Helen Stacy, mother. Peter, wow, and where did the photo come from? Anyway, her story and information are the same as in Andrew Garfield's universe, well almost, since in the Amazing Universe, Gwen has 3 brothers, but apparently not on this earth. I thought about the situation. Veronica, sir, what do you mean by that? Peter, don't worry Veronica, I understand myself. He would take off his glasses and head to his classroom. Upon entering he sits in his seat while sighing, but then he feels someone tap him on the shoulder. He turns his gaze. Laura, hello Peter, she gave a smile. Peter, hello Laura, how are you? He said smiling. Laura, well, of course, if I ignore the little girls who tried to get me to join their group of conceited supermodels, other than that, everything's fine, she sighed. Peter, really? I asked curiously. Laura, that group over there, she pointed to a group of girls who were the most popular in the class. Mary Jane was with them. They approached me and told me to join their little group of show-offs. Just listening to them for the first 5 seconds they already became annoying to me. She made a face. Peter, oh, right, they're like that most of the time, and what did you do? Laura, what do you think? I rejected them and told them not to bother me again. They were really annoying. Peter, well, oddly enough I know one of that group, her, point to MJ, she's my next door neighbor. Laura, ah, the redhead, yes, she wasn't like the others, she told me they weren't that bad and that I should just ignore them. It seems that she also dislikes them a little. If so, why does she stay with them? Peter, you know, I'm not interested personally. He put on some headphones. Let me know when the teacher arrives, he said leaning back in his chair. Laura, what do you hear? She takes off a hearing aid and puts it on him. Laura, you have good taste, she said shaking her head. I find it hard to believe you're a nerd. Peter, can I have it back? Laura, no, she smiles at him. I want to listen too. Parker just smiles while listening to the music. After 10 minutes the teacher arrives and the classes begin. After an hour, some students would leave the classroom because they had to attend other classes. Laura, I'll see you at lunchtime. Peter, sure. Laura would be one of those who would have to go to another classroom. Then Peter would have math class. Someone sits next to him. Gwen, I'm here. Peter, hi Gwen, he smiles at her. Peter, hello Gwen, he smiles at her. Gwen, are you ready? Peter, yes, no, damn. Gwen, are you okay? I asked confused. Peter, I forgot my math book. Hey, could you watch my things while I get it? Please. Gwen, sure, but don't be long. Peter, thanks. Peter would rush out of the room. Gwen just smiles, in that she only sees her books on the table, but she sees some common glasses, but she swore she saw some small numbers through the glasses. This confused her. Gwen, what was that? She took the glasses and examined them. They didn't look strange at all, but she noticed a button on the right side of the glasses. Gwen, what is this button for? She, being curious, puts on her glasses. Gwen, they look good on me, she said, smiling. She didn't see anything out of the ordinary and thought the numbers on the glasses were her imagination, so she was going to take them off. But in that, Veronica, initiating facial recognition. Gwen, but what? She covered her mouth when she saw that some students looked at her strangely. Gwen, sorry. She then focuses again on the glasses she was wearing. Gwen, what was that? She said in a low whisper. Veronica, facial recognition completed, regards Gwendolyn Stacy. Gwen, but what tilde ... hello. She adjusted her glasses. Veronica, greetings Gwendolyn Stacy, I am Veronica, an artificial intelligence created by Mr. Peter Parker. Gwen, artificial intelligence? And Peter created you? She was very surprised, really? Veronica, indeed, I was designed to make Mr. Peter's life easier and more orderly. Now I will start the interface. Through the lenses, she begins to see some information about the students in the classroom, including their names and ages, as well as their date of birth, weight, blood type, and other information. Gwen, a visual interface. This is incredible. Did Peter really create something like this? And Veronica, right? Veronica, that's right. Gwen, and what can you do? I asked, very interested. Veronica, I'm sorry Gwen, but I can't reveal my current abilities without Mr. Peter's authorization. The beautiful blonde was about to speak, but then she heard a voice that made her freeze. Peter, come back, thanks for. In that I see a very nervous Gwen looking at him while she had her glasses on. She saw the active interface, which made him nervous. Peter, oh no. Gwen, Peter, she took off her glasses, did you do this? Peter, me, ah. The teacher would enter the classroom. Peter quickly took off Gwen's glasses and sat in her place. That's what they concentrated on in class, but he knew very well that this would not stay like that. After 2 hours, it would be recess time, and Peter would go to an empty table, but... Gwen, tell me. Peter, no. Gwen, tell me. Peter, no. Gwen, oh, please. Peter, okay. Gwen, really? Peter, no. Gwen, Peter. Peter, no. Gwen, Peter. Peter, nope. Gwen, Peter. Peter, okay, follow me. They would find an empty table and both sat down. Gwen looked into his eyes. Gwen, now, how could you create something like that? She said, taking my glasses. Peter, well. So he begins to tell her about how he made AI, and I must say that she was more than impressed that he had created artificial intelligence based on a few computer chips and a few programs. Gwen, it's incredible, to be able to do something like that with simple artifacts. You're really smart Peter, she smiles at him. Peter, and you are so beautiful Gwen, I said, staring at her. Gwen, oh you, she said, embarrassed but smiling. Peter, I'm just honest, said with constant eye contact. Gwen, thanks, and by the way, what can your AI do? It's just, Veronica, your AI wouldn't tell me. Peter, well, several things. It tells me the weather, it allows me to access the New York police radio, it gives me access to all the radios in the city, and I can access some servers that I am allowed to enter. For now Veronica has limitations, but later I will make her more open to other things. A few moments ago I was able to access the digital files of the Academy's report cards. I wanted to know how much I got in physics. I also snooped around on other students. Flash's grades are disgusting, he said, laughing slightly. Gwen, incredible, for someone with limitations, Peter has incredible abilities. But snooping around in other people's data isn't right, she looked at him seriously. Peter, yes, I know, sorry I. Gwen, could you access my data and see how much I got on my history test? I feel like I didn't study enough and I'm worried about how much I got, please. This one would put on the glasses. Peter, Veronica, did you hear? Veronica, entering Gwendolyn Stacy's digital grade files. Peter would pass him the glasses. Peter, here, it's none of my business. The beautiful blonde would nod as she put on her glasses, and then all her grades were shown to her. She would breathe a sigh of relief upon seeing the subject she was looking for, then she would take off her glasses and give them back to him. Gwen, phew, what a relief, thank God I got a 100 in history. Peter, you are a very intelligent, beautiful woman and capable of achieving anything. Gwen, it was obvious that you would turn out well, you had nothing to worry about. She would just blush when she saw him. Gwen, thanks Peter. They both looked at each other, fixedly, without anyone bothering them. He really liked the fact that Gwen had the face of an actress as beautiful as Emma Stone. He just wanted to look at her all the time without anything bothering him. But then a bad memory came to his head. Her hands began to shake with fear. She knew very well that Gwen Stacy's destiny in most universes was death, but she was not going to tolerate that. Peter, I won't allow it, I won't let him die, not in my land. He thought determinedly. Gwen, Peter, are you okay? I asked worriedly. Peter, yes I am, I'm fine Gwen, I said smiling at her. Gwen, then why are you crying? This did not take away her concern. Peter, what? He would put his hands to his eyes and indeed, there were tears coming out. He quickly wiped them away. Peter, sorry about that, I just remembered, a tragic ending to a movie, that's all, he said with a darkened look. Gwen, what is it about? I asked curiously. Me, a girl, her boyfriend tried to save her, but he didn't get there in time, and she died, he said without seeing her. Gwen, and she was happy with him? Peter, a lot, he loved her so much that when she said she was leaving the country, he made the decision to go with her so as not to be separated. He loved her, and she loved him, but a disaster occurred, she died, and her boyfriend could not save her in time. Gwen, then I think the girl died happy knowing that her boyfriend loves her with all his being, so she shouldn't have regretted anything of her actions until the end. You know what I think? I think that while we see here those who helped us get to what we are, I know this will seem like a goodbye, but we will take a piece of ourselves to everything we do after, so as not to forget who we are and who we should be, she said smiling at him. His fear grew as he recognized those words. Me, please stop, I beg you, he said taking his hands, and other tears came out of my eyes. Gwen, Peter? Are you okay? She worriedly squeezed my hands. The brunette just nodded while wiping his eyes. When he became Spider-Man, he was going to avoid Gwen's death at all costs, even if that meant getting his hands dirty. If he had to become an anti-hero to save those he cared about, so be it. Gwen, let's not talk about that anymore. It must have been a movie that left its mark on you. Peter, yes, a lot. They both smiled again, then he felt a hand on his shoulder. He looked up to see who it was. Laura, until I find you, she said sitting at the table while smiling at him. Peter, hello Laura, until you arrive, he said smiling at her. Ah, Laura, this is Gwen Stacy. Gwen, this is Laura Kinney. Maybe they saw each other in the living room but they shouldn't have spoken directly, he said introducing them. Laura, not really, accusto Gwen, she stretched out her hand. Gwen, likewise Laura, said returning the greeting. In this way the three of them talked while they ate. Gwen and Laura got along well in a short time, something that made her happy, but in the distance, there was someone who saw us. Mary Jane, because I feel left out, she felt a bad feeling in her chest. Liz, hey Mary Jane, are you okay? Mary Jane, oh? I'm fine, don't worry. Back at the table, the three of them talked about anything while laughing, and then Laura spoke. Laura, by the way Peter, are we meeting at the library today to study? Speaking of which, 2 weeks ago, Peter agreed with Laura to tutor him on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, which she accepted. Peter, of course, today is Monday, so don't think you'll escape, he said smiling at her. Gwen, wait, how is that, Peter, do you teach Laura? I asked curiously. Peter, yes, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, she asked me to help her improve her grades, he said simply, shrugging his shoulders. Gwen, I see. Laura, do you want to come with us, Gwen? Gwen, thanks, but I can't. After school I have to go to Oscorp Industries. I'm Dr. Connor's assistant, so I shouldn't miss it. I'm really sorry. Laura, you work at Oscorp? That's great. Peter, I expected that, I thought simply. After that they continued talking among themselves, until the break ended and they returned to classes. Peter still didn't know when the time would come to go to Oscorp to receive the spider bite.